cyclists in the city are voicing their frustrations about snow-blocked bike lanes more than a week after that record-breaking storm.
Yeah, biking, cycling advocate and lawyer David Shellnut is live this morning with more on this. David, we've seen it, driving through the city, these bike lanes that, you can barely even tell they're there. Yeah. Just how much of a problem is this for the cycling community, and what kind of safety concerns do you have?
Yeah, you cannot tell that they're there. And thankfully, it's obvious to drivers, too, because when I'm going in front of them down the middle of Bloor Street, because that's my only option to drop my kid off at daycare or deliver food for our volunteer organization, I'm glad they see that I got nowhere else to go, or else they'd be pretty upset with me.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, because it was just last week where on some of the major roads, let's say Bathurst, for example, it's supposed to be a 2-lane road in one direction. It still felt like 1 lane. So I can't imagine where cyclists have to go in this type of weather. What is the response from the city when cyclists are calling 311 or asking the city as to why the bike lanes, which are pretty high up there in the priority list, are not getting cleared right now?
We reached out by letter to Mayor Chow last week, and it's been crickets. Thankfully, we've got 1 or 2 good councillors in my area where I live that have helped with a few little spots. But across the board, bike lanes are basically unusable. Doug Ford's bringing a court challenge to shut these things down. All he had to do was wait for winter in Toronto.
Hey, David, some people might be watching this and saying, who cycles in the winter? Playing a little devil's advocate here. Yeah. Are there a lot of people that are genuinely trying to get out on 2 wheels in this kind of weather this time of year?
Sure. If you clear it, we will come. That's kind of the adage. We run a volunteer organization since the pandemic that every single day for multiple food banks in the city delivers food to people in need who have mobility issues. And when sidewalks are a little sketchy after a snowstorm, certainly can't get out and rely on folks like the cyclists or the bike brigade to deliver. So that's happening. You've got all these young men who are working, delivering food by bike to people in Toronto, frankly, who would rather stay home. Maybe I shouldn't drive to get the pizza today, I'll order it. We ought to think about their safety too. So there's them as well. There's lots of people out there. It's often framed as a cyclist or a bike lane versus sidewalk thing. But I think in Toronto, with the amount of taxes we pay, sidewalks, roadways, bike lanes, they all got to be clear. We pay for this infrastructure. It ought to be cleaned. I know we have contracts. Why aren't these contracts being acted upon? Taxpayer money is at stake here.
Okay, David, very quickly, for your advice to people who must cycle, because that's kind of their only way to get around right now, what should they be using? The sidewalks that are cleared, or just sharing the roads with drivers at this point if there are no bike lanes?
I hazard to say use sidewalks on television, but listen, if you're on Keel, riding on the bike on the roadway may not be safe. So I just say to everybody, be safe. If you take the roadway, motorists, give a little extra room, be a bit patient. Cyclists, if you have to jump on a sidewalk, get off and yield to pedestrians if you see them coming. Yeah. We all got to work together here.
Okay, that's David Shellnut, the biking lawyer, letting us know more about the situation on those snow-covered, still a week later, bike lanes. Appreciate the time this morning, David. Thanks.
Thank you.